את היושבים בירכתי האולם בסוף, לרדת הנה, יהיה לנו לכולנו יותר נעים. אני מוכרחה להגיד, קודם כל תודה לכל מי שהגיעו בהתראה די קצרה, ובסוף יום, זה לא פשוט, אז אנחנו תמיד מתרגשים ושמחים ממי שמגיע, ותודה רבה לכם. יש לנו שבוע מיוחד השבוע, יש לנו את הזכות הייתה פה משלחת שלשום מאירלנד, שעוסקת בכל הנושא של חינוך לשלום בגיל הרך, והם עוסקים בזה בכל העולם, ובאו לעשות את הכנס ואת ההתכנסות שלהם פה במכון מופת. יש לנו פה עמיתה, אני לא רואה אותה, שהיא נכנסה מאירלנד, שעוסקת ורוצה להקים כל מיני פורומים לטיפוח או לפיתוח מקצועי של מורים באירלנד, פרופסור אן מקפל מאוניברסיטת לימריק באירלנד. והיום, או בכמה ימים האחרונים, יש לנו את הכבוד והעונג לארח את אנדי ניואל ואת כריסטוף מלינג, שהם באים מחברת איריס, שהיא חברה, גם כן היא ממוקמת באנגליה, בברייטון, אבל זאת חברה שעוסקת בנושא של כל מה שאנחנו רוצים בעצם, קידום ההוראה, טיפוח ההוראה, שיפור ההוראה. יש להם, הם פיתחו איזושהי דרך מאוד מיוחדת, במובנים מסוימים היא מזכירה גל את IAW בחלק מהדברים שהם עושים. הם עובדים כבר כיום ב-25 ארצות, שזה לא מעט, ובאמת הדבר החשוב ביותר שמשותף לנו ולהם, זה איך באמת עושים את ההוראה להוראה משמעותית וטובה, ולנו היה תענוג לפגוש בהם, ואני בטוחה שגם לכם יהיה תענוג. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Inevitably, when one presents in front of lots of people, sometimes one can become nervous and speak too fast. And I appreciate that we're going to do this in English because my Hebrew is not very good. Exactly. So if I am going too fast or you want me to slow down, please do say so and let me know. I'd like to start, obviously, by thanking the Mofet Institute for having us with you today. We've been privileged to visit a number of educational projects while we're here, and I think it's fair to say that we've been deeply impressed by the level of educational thinking and the depth of commitment to educational reform, and most importantly, the value of teachers and teaching within education. So, might be just worth a few moments to introduce ourselves. My name is Andy Newell, and I'm the Managing Director of Iris Connect. I founded the company back in 2008, so we're not a startup company. We have an innovative technology, but the other half of what we do is an educational consultancy, working with schools and systems and individual teachers to help them be the best they can be. I'm also joined today by Christoph Mullins, who is our Head of Education at Iris Connect. So when you see what we do and ask yourself the question, how do you get that into practice? Christoph has the educational expertise and track record of doing that with customers on a countrywide and international basis. So, I have a clicker. Do I have a clicker? What did I do with it? Did something with it. I left it behind them. I'm sorry. So fundamentally, as an organisation, this is what we believe. We believe that empowered, connected, and confident teachers are better teachers, and stronger teachers nurture better outcomes for learners. That's why we exist. in order to achieve this, we strongly believe that it's about the network. It's about the connections between teachers, between schools, and between educational systems that matter the most. This illustration you can see behind me is a representation of one of our most connected teachers through the platform. I'll explain more about what that means later. But every single one of those connections represents a video or practice being shared between teachers across schools. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. A little bit more information about Iris Connect. We work with about 2,500 organisations around the world. Predominantly, we work in the UK. That's where we came from. As a company, we're based in a town called Brighton. I wonder if anyone's ever been to Brighton? There we go, 1, 2, excellent. So yes, we're a little town just south of London on the south coast of the UK. And we work with about 25% of UK secondary schools. So 25% of the secondary schools in the UK work with us. We also work a lot in primary education. We also work with initial teacher education with a number of institutions across Europe. And every week, around 5,000 videos are uploaded by teachers in our professional development network in order to reflect, collaborate and share practices. In total, there's around 80,000 users around the world using our system. And we've got some really important relationships with organisations like the Chartered College of Teaching in the UK, which is about certifying chartered status for outstanding practitioners. And also organisations like YAMK, who are one of the leading providers of initial teacher training in Finland. So that's a very important relationship with us that's enriched our work as much as we've supplied a product to them. Now, as you can see on this map, up there in the top left-hand corner, that represents a project that we worked on in Washington State and Seattle. And what I'd like to do, just to sort of illustrate why video, on the kind of communication that we can have as teaching professionals around the use of video, I'd like to zoom in on some work that's been happening at that school and give you the opportunity to participate and reflect on some practice from that school. So, has everybody got a mobile device with them? Don't worry if you don't, but if you do, and you want to participate in a more meaningful way in this step of the process, then please go to the following web address. So polev.com, and then it's me, /Andy Newell 500. And what I'll do now is hand over to Christoph, who will guide you through this next step of the process.
Good afternoon, everyone. So yes, my name is Christoph Mullings. I'm Head of Education at Iris Connect. I've been working for the company for 4 years now. Prior to that, I was a teacher myself. I've worked in UK schools, both in primary and secondary scenarios, and also in various different roles as an English teacher, French teacher, head of department, head of year, director of studies, and then later I started doing research into professional learning communities, lesson observation, and the way in which the two could support one another and serve as a vital professional development experience for teachers, which is where my work led to work with Iris Connect and with Andy. So what I'm going to show you now, what we'd like this session to be is somewhat interactive, if possible, involving some discussion and some dialogue, and we're going to try and do that using this poll, but also maybe by just question and answer as well. So if you've managed to log into there, what we're going to do... Yeah.
If you have problem with the internet, there is a Wi-Fi which is free and can connect, and it's much better for your cell phone.
Yeah, so if you want to, you can connect to the Wi-Fi. I think it's the free Moffat Institute open access Wi-Fi, so you can connect to that if you'd like to take part. If you can't, don't worry, because, as I say, we might end up just having discussion as well. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you a video which, as Andy says, was recorded in Washington by a classroom teacher, and she has kindly made that available to us as a resource. Before I play the video, I'd like to give you some context to what you're about to see, and I'd like you to consider some things that I would like you to focus on, some key points that I would like you to focus on whilst you watch the clip. Okay? So this is it will be a maths lesson. I think it's US 4th grade. And the teacher in this lesson, she is interested in better understanding the students' perception and understanding of division. And so she has designed a short activity to explore whether there are any misconceptions about division. Does this make sense? Please, if I haven't explained myself very well, please just raise your hand. Okay. So the two things that I would like you to focus on, and you can choose one or the other, or both, is firstly the nature of the task. So think about the way in which the task is structured, managed, and the impact that this has. The second is whether there are any key words or phrases that stand out to you, that maybe are unusual, or that you think are maybe having a certain impact on the learning, or indeed the culture within the classroom, or perhaps the discussion, the dialogue. So, task, language. Now, it is in English, it's an American clip, but Gil and his colleagues have done some work to provide some subtitles in Hebrew as well, so that you can better understand the video clip. It's about 5 minutes long, I think 5-6 minutes. Anything else to add, Andy, at this point?
I think the only other thing to add is that we've got that focus. We've got the focus on either the task or the language, but also it's important to suspend all other judgment and focus on those things in particular. This is important because when we're working with video, we want to establish some norms around how we talk about it, so that other people feel more confident sharing their videos in the future.
Yeah, thanks for that. That's very important. We use video very much as a developmental tool. This isn't a place to be making judgments about teacher quality. Okay, so I'm going to play you the video.
So here's a new one. You ready? True or false? Now remember, if you think it's true or if you think it's false, you want to have a really good reason. Okay? 80 divided by 4 is the same as 80 divided by 2 and 80 divided by 2. I want you to think carefully. 80 divided by 4, I could put a story problem around this. 80 Skittles divided by 4 kids is the same amount as 80 Skittles divided by 2 kids plus 80 Skittles divided by 2 kids. And I think I'm going to have you turn and talk. Remember, you need to have a reason that you think the way you do it. Don't you? What are you thinking?
What I was thinking was that 80 divided by 4 equals to 20 because 20 times 4 would equal to 80, and then 80 divided by 2 will equal to 40 because 40 plus 40 equals to 80, so 40 plus 40 altogether.
So then what would the final equation rate then?
20 is the same as...
So 20, you're saying that the final one would say what? 20 is the same as 40 plus 40 is 20 the same as 80.
It's true because if you switch it around, 80 divided by 2 is
So I think that, Simon, second? As soon as everybody's done. Exciting. I don't think that we're in agreement. Just real quick, show me a thumb if you think it is true. Show me a thumb if you think it is false. So we have some people that think both ways. Would somebody like to defend true? Defend true. Let's start with Jason. Would you defend true?
Because you're cutting it in half 4, so it's 80 divided by 2. And then it's another 80 divided by 2 because 2 plus 2 equals 4.
Okay. Adding on to that, Grace?
If you switch it around, it'll be 80 divided by 2, and then it'll be 80 divided by 2 equals 80 divided by 4. And 2 plus 2 equals 4, and then the 80 stays where it is.
Okay. Romy, what are you thinking? You're agreeing.
I think it was true because me and Praise were talking, and all you have to do is add up the 2's, and 2 plus 2 is 4, so then it'll be the same thing.
Okay. Anybody else want to talk about true? Here's that.
I think it's true because you divided the skills into 2 days. Like the first day you gave 2 kids some, and the other day you gave the other kids some. Like 2 and 2 for 4. That equals 4. So it's actually 80 divided by 4 if you add them together, which you are because you said 80 divided by 2 plus 80 divided by 2, and that would equal 80 divided by 4.
Are you wanting to support true? True. Is there anyone else who wants to support true? Okay, so let's take some people who want to support false. Let's go Vivian, Akaya, and Andre. Go ahead, Vivian.
I think it's false because if you do 80 divided by 2, then you already splitted all the Skittles, so you can't do it again because all the Skittles are already gone. And you can't change the divisor, you can only change the dividend.
So, Jason, you look like you are not sure about what she said. Can you repeat what she said?
Well, he said, you can't change the divisor.
Do you remember which one's the divisor?
Yeah, before.
Okay. Do you wonder why you can't change the divisor? Should we ask her why? Mm-hmm. Why can't you change the divisor?
Each row, you can't change that.
Well, and in our story, it's how many kids.
Yeah.
Okay. And what were you saying about the 80 Skittles?
If you split the 80 Skittles between 2 people, and you can't split it again because you already split it all of them.
So what do you think, Jason, about what she said? She said if you split 80 Skittles between two people, you've used them up, and you can't do it again. What do you think about that?
I think she might be right, so I'm starting to think it's false.
So you're starting to wonder. Okay, so let's hear some more defense. Who was the next person I said? Ankaya, what are you thinking?
Okay, so obviously the advantage of video is that we could play this back, we could watch it again, we could go to particular moments. We don't really have time for that, I'm afraid, but what we do have time for maybe is to have a short discussion about those two things that I asked you to focus on. So a quick reminder, what I was interested in was what you thought about the nature of the task, the way this was framed, the way it was managed, and the impact that this may have had. The second thing was whether there was any particular wording or language or phrases which you think impacted the nature of the discussion, impacted the learning perhaps, impacted the culture within the classroom, that sort of thing. So perhaps if you are okay with this idea, you could turn to someone that you're sat next to, just for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and maybe discuss those two things. And then we'll come back and see what people think they've made of this video clip. Okay, so for 2-3 minutes, could you discuss what you've just seen, please? Thank you. Yes. I don't know if that's going to mess with things. So how do I... So if I take that out, I'm going